Hello, my friends. Mike Shreve here. Welcome to our Quick Tip Thursday. This got out a little bit later than normal, but this is going to be a really, really good one. If you're feeling stuck in any way, if things just aren't working out, if you cannot figure out why all of the effort that you're putting into building your service-based business, to building your freelancing business, it's not getting the results that you want, I'm going to give you 3 things that you can do very, very quickly right now to take that momentum that you have of trying really hard and turning it into some results, the results that you're looking for. Okay, so here we go. If you are struggling, let's say you built your email list and you're emailing it and it's not getting results, or you're trying 10 different 10 different ways of getting clients. You're doing this and you're doing that and you're doing all of these different things. Here's what I want you to do. Stop, take a deep breath, and kill most of it. Okay, one of the things that stops a lot of freelancers early on in their career is they get overwhelmed. They try to do too many things at once. What you need to do is pick fewer things, master them, do them until they work, not if they work, and then move on to the next thing, then move on to the next thing. A business is grown over time slowly, right? So years and years and years until you build this massive, beautiful, amazing, it's making you all the money you've ever wanted, all that kind of stuff. But to get the quick wins, you have to take all of this and shrink it down into just the stuff that you need to get the results that you want. So here's the 3 things that you need. I don't care what you're selling. I don't care who you're selling it to. I don't care what experience you have. These are the 3 things you need, and that's it. Everything else is just the cherry on top. Number 1, all you need is a way to communicate with people. And we'll talk about each of these here really quick and what's going to end up being not a super quick tip Thursday, but a longer video. Number 1, so a way to communicate with people. That's it. You just need 1 to start and then master it, then add another, add another, add another. Number 2 is something to offer them that in exchange for money. We'll talk about that in a second. Number 3, and this is probably the most important out of the other 2, if you put a gun to my head and said, Mike, of the 3, which is the one I should work on the most, fierce follow-up. Okay, so we'll talk about that here in a second. Let me just see. Greg says, so overwhelmed. Nicole says, one thing at a time. Mike, hey, how's it going, my friend? Okay, so let's talk about just 3 things. A way to communicate with people, something to offer them in exchange for money, and fierce follow-up. This is it, my friends. A way to communicate with people. There's a couple of ways that I recommend. I want you to just choose 1. Until you've got the momentum going, until the money's coming in, until you've sorted out the nuances of your business, which is, do I actually like working with these people? Is this really what I want to do? Just choose 1, go out there, do it, so that you can have the real life experience working with clients, working with people to answer those bigger, larger, massive questions. Okay, a way to communicate with people. Here's what I recommend. Either, you got 3 choices. Either use Facebook organically, so that's use your personal page. Do these Facebook Lives like I'm doing. Go into Facebook groups, make friends, network. That's one way. Or build an email list, okay? So use Facebook ads, use organic traffic, whatever you got to do to build your email list, or do cold emails, okay? Let me break it down for you, which ones I recommend. If you need money now, and you're not opposed to getting on the phone, and you're not opposed to talking to people, use cold emails. I have a program called the Fast Client Getting Workshop, which gives you all of the templates that you need, but you don't necessarily need templates. Just get out there, start emailing. You can figure it out for yourself. Cold email. Go to LinkedIn. Find people who you think, man, that'd be really cool to work with them. I can help them. Send them cold emails. Try to get them on a phone call. On that phone call, help them as best as you can, then offer your service. Fast Client Getting Workshop, our program has all the scripts if you want. Otherwise, just get out there and do it. That's one method. That's the way to go very, very quickly. If you need quick money, do that and don't do anything else. Just that one method of cold outreach, okay? Now, the other method, of course, if you don't need the money now, if you want to kind of If you're more of like, I rather work with people who I have relationships with, I kind of enjoy networking, I don't mind getting on Facebook Live like this, then do Facebook. And just all you have to do, here it is, just like this live, just like I'm doing right now, do your Facebook Lives, interact with people in groups, and then at the end of your Facebook Live or whatever conversations you're having in Facebook groups through private messenger, at the end, simply say, hey, how can I help you? People will reach out to you, tell them to reach out to you, work with them, talk to them, figure out what it is that they're having a struggle with, and then simply invite them to hire you to go to that next stage, to that next step, whatever that is. Super, super simple. This one takes a lot of time, okay? So using Facebook organically, it takes a lot of time. You got to build up your follower list. But if that's the kind of thing you enjoy doing, then that's something you can do, right? The third way, which is my preferred way above all else, is building an email list. Because when you are building an email list, what you have is not just a way to communicate with people, but you have their undivided attention. It is, of all the methods we talked about, cold email, Facebook, organic, email list is the one in which you have the most control. Okay, so choose one of those three, and that's it for right now. Don't get distracted. Don't if you know, I'm always teaching about the valley of despair. Check some of my other videos. I don't have time to go into it now, but basically when you start something, you get really excited, then you realize that it's not that great, right? It's actually harder than you thought it was. You have to push through what's called the valley of despair. Choose one, push through the valley of despair, and do it until it works. Make the tweaks until it works. Too often we try something and it doesn't work, and we say, that method doesn't work. Instead, what we should be saying is, what am I doing wrong in this method? Where am I coming up short? What's the thing I can tweak? And the only way you're going to be able to get past that and turn it into results is if you don't give up, if you keep going, okay? So that's the first way, a way to communicate with people. Figure out a way to communicate with people. Now, number two, something to offer them in exchange for money. Now, obviously, we have the No Pants Project coaching program where we dive deep into this, but let me drill it down for those of you who are not in the coaching program, a very, very quick way for you to figure out what you can give to people in exchange for money. Let's say that you're doing cold email. Let's say that you're doing the Facebook Live. Let's say that you're doing the email list. Any one of those you can do this in. All you have to do, my friends, is learn how to ask. To come to the table and be willing to listen when people talk about their struggles. It helps if you know what questions to ask, but you can learn what questions to ask. If you're doing Facebook Live like this, for example, let's say you just get on Facebook Live, you got a bunch of people following you, so when you pop on, a bunch of people pop in the live, just like right now, I've got a couple people. All you have to do is say, what can I help you with tonight, guys? What are you guys struggling with right now? If you're in a Facebook group, listen, look, what are people struggling with in that Facebook group? Go to an online forum. What are people struggling with? A freelancer and a service provider's job is this and only this, to help people who are struggling to move through their struggle and get the results that they desire. That's your job. So if you can identify a struggle, then you can arm yourself with the skills and create something that helps people move through that struggle. That's it. That's the something you offer in exchange for money. Now, when you're on Facebook or when you're doing your cold emails or when you're doing your email list, you simply talk about the struggle that they have so that they can identify, I do have that struggle. And you simply say, here's the solution that I have to help you through that struggle. That's it. Now, if you're a smart freelancer, you can check out some of our other videos here like Greasy Math, etc., etc. You identify a couple of struggles within a bigger overarching struggle, right? So if you were to say to me, Mike, I want to lose 10 pounds. Well, you don't just magically click your fingers and lose 10 pounds. There's diet, there's nutrition, there's sleep, there's hydration. There's all these different minor struggles that you need to overcome for the bigger overarching struggle. And as a smart freelancer, you build a business that addresses those along the way so that you avoid the most dangerous number in business, which is 1. Okay, so number 3 is the fierce follow-up. You've got a way to communicate with them. You know you have something to sell. Here is where most of your sales are going to be made. Most of your clients, like 90% of them, will come from fierce follow-up. Now, what do we mean by fierce follow-up? It's just this. It's so simple. People forget to do it all the time. In our Fast Client Getting Workshop, when we're talking about cold emails, in our No Pants project, when I say you should literally email every single day, the reason is because people simply forget. What they forget more than anything is to follow through on overcoming their own struggle. True or not true, you have at least 10 times started some kind of diet program, some kind of nutrition program, some kind of personal development and improvement program, some kind of business program where you started and you were excited and you're like, let's do this. And then what happened? You forgot. Life got in the way. It's the same for all of your clients. Fierce follow-up doesn't have to be aggressive follow-up. It can actually be another venue, another way for you to serve by you being the person like, hey, look, we talked about this a week ago and you seemed really excited that you wanted to overcome this struggle. What can we do? Can I follow up with you? Like, how can we get this thing moving? I know you want to overcome this thing in your business, in your life, in whatever. Let me help you. That's all your follow-up has to be. And I promise that follow-up is as effective, if not more effective than the 50,000 step, mega funnels that I, have like way complex and complicated. Simple, honest, direct. Listen, you said you wanted this thing. Let me advocate for you on your behalf because obviously life's getting in the way for you. Things are happening for you. Let me help you get over whatever that is. Let me help you through the struggle. That's it, my friends. A way to communicate with people, something to offer them in exchange for money, fierce follow-up. If you are struggling right now in growing your freelancing business, in your service-based business, one of these 3 things is broken. One of these 3 things isn't happening enough. You may have a way to communicate with people, but you're only talking to the same 2 people. You may have something to offer them in exchange for money, but it's not what they want because you didn't listen. You may have a kind of follow-up, but are you consistently following up with them just like you would follow up with someone you love who had heart disease, who could solve that heart disease if they just changed their diet? Like, honestly, think about it in that way. How would you follow up with them to help them get on the right diet, to solve the pain that they have? Okay, my friends, that is it for our Thursday night quick tip. How long did this even end up becoming? Almost 13 minutes. Okay. So this was definitely not quick, but hopefully it helped you. Let me see what some of y'all said. Let's see. Rebecca says how to find products people will buy. Absolutely. Listen, ask, interact with people. Chris Miller says, build emails. Absolutely. If you're in the No Pants Project program, we talk about how to build those emails with your dream client and then how to use the daily email to filter and pre-qualify the people who are most likely going to get the results that you have to offer. Let's see. Greg says, do you have an email program? Yes, sir. That is our No Pants Project coaching program. That's an aspect of it. We build our email list a little bit differently than most people because what we do is we focus on your superpower, your dream client, your dream customer, and then we build the email list. So we make sure that the people who are on the email, the people who we're sending emails to are the right people. Let's see. Joe says, this is so me. Yes, Joe, simplify. Okay, Joe, because you and I know each other because you're in our program. Joe, literally, my friend, whatever, all of the plates that you're spinning, the most powerful thing you can do, Joe, right now to get you the biggest results in the next 30 days is to knock as many of those plates off as possible, to focus in on one thing for now, because listen, I say it all the time. 1 is the most dangerous number in business, but for now, You need to focus on one until it works, then add the second thing, then focus on that until it works, then add the third thing, and that's when you've got a really solid base. But until then, you have to focus on the one thing until it works, not if it works. Until, not if. Let's see. Evan says, do daily emails count as follow-up or not quite? Absolutely, Evan, especially for you, Evan, especially because I know you're working with people trying to transition into veganism and these sorts of things, especially if you use the response to your emails as the future emails that you write, because you are staying current, you're staying relative, you're staying in the conversation that people are having in their minds as they read and consume your emails. Let's see. See, Rebecca says, I'll keep it spinning. Evan says, it's me too. Too many spinning plates. Yes, you guys, imagine that your energy, and I'm not trying to be woo-woo here, but imagine the forward momentum that you have, okay? Imagine that it gets dispersed and dissipated trying to go in multiple directions. What you have to do is take all that forward momentum, all of that energy, all of that excitement that you have, and put the horse blinders on, because there's so many opportunities in 2018, you guys. There are more opportunities now than there to build a business, different strategies, different ways, and they all work. That's the hard part. The hard part is there's so many strategies and they all work. How do you choose the one? How do you choose one? Well, you choose one and then you turn the other ones off until your business is to a point where that one thing you've been working on is either sustained and doing its own, or you've compressed it down to like a 10, 15, 20 minute a day type activity. Then you move on to the next one. Then you move on to the next one. Okay, my friends, hopefully that was helpful. I love you so much. That was our Thursday quick tip, which ended up being a little bit longer than a quick tip, but hopefully it was helpful. Focus, simplify, make it easy on yourself. If you can't move forward, it's probably because you're trying to move in too many directions at once. I hope you all have a beautiful, wonderful evening. I love you so much, and have a good weekend.